to be here. Because
Right. So it says,
thank you
thanks so
so much
much.
for
All right. So welcome to the Youth Code. Welcome to another one. Welcome to another episode with yours truly, Anthony D. Today we are on a very interesting topic: 9 to 5 or nah. The thing is that we want to talk with the younger generation. We're asking them. We want to know from them. We want to hear from them. What are their thoughts concerning work, career, profession? Right? What does that look like for them? Right? So we're talking about redefining work across the generations, and the ideas as we talk with our millennials and our Gen Zs to get an idea from them as to what are their thoughts concerning work in this era in which we exist. We want to kind of get an idea. So how do the millennials feel about work and their jobs and their careers, especially after COVID-19? We know COVID-19 has had a very interesting impact on the lives and the view that that many young people have concerning work. Even we have reports of people changing their perspective on what work should look like for them, right? We also have the Gen Zs, right, coming out on the heels of that. We want to know if the Gen Zs and them are still interested in what is referred to as our traditional jobs, like being a lawyer, doctor, pediatrician, government jobs. What are their views and their thoughts concerning that? So I have two lovely young ladies with me this evening, and I'm going to bring them in the studio one time, and I will allow them to introduce themselves. We have Miss Shekinah Sergio with us, and then we also have Patrice Solomon, a good friend of mine. And let me just allow these ladies to introduce themselves. So Shekinah, you could introduce yourself first, and then Patrice will do so. So go ahead.
all right. Thank you so much, Anthony. I'm so thrilled to be here. Because of the nature of this interview, I will give my background, even though it's completely different now.
Right.
I would have spent 3 years working at a call center, a popular one called ICO. Started off as a customer service representative, then went on to be a trainer, and then I moved campaigns to be a quality analyst with the same company. I have since resigned from working there after having my son, and I moved to entrepreneurship, which I now run my own business. It's called Nahhhh Event Catering. Apart from that, I also practice fashion design, which I do draw some income from that as well. And I also run a non-profit for young women. It's called Glory for Women. And we have different seminars. We have wonderful speakers for the purpose of empowering young women. So that's what I do.
Wow. Ooh, that's a that's a full play there, boy. Plus, and having that child. Okay.
Yes.
Kind of similar to the conversation we were just having, right, Patrice?
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Patrice. You introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you so much, Anthony, for this opportunity. I'm so glad to be here and to have this discussion. Patrice Solomon, the first of two girls. I'm into the finance banking industry. I also studied it, so I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance analysis. I'm also into dancing, so basically, yes. So apart from working, I had to lead dance groups and plus be senior dancer of different groups already. So I was in a couple of groups, but things have changed this year because I'm trying to balance, which we are all going to speak about tonight. So
Yep, we will.
that's it with me. Yeah.
All right. Ladies, thank you all so much for being on the inside of the Youth Code. So here's what, guys. I want to give you all a little challenge as we get into our discussion, right? I want you to describe your job. Describe it using a popular movie. Think you could do that? I'll start with Patrice and then Zagaya. So you're describing your work or your career, whatever it is you do, you're describing it like a movie. What movie could give us an idea as to what it is you do?
Okay, so my job is something like the movie that just came out the other day named Straw. And we had Sherry Shepherd had to help this distressed customer while she was going through a really tough, challenging time in her life. So apart from just doing your basic job, sometimes you are a counselor and you have to be able to make that storm calm it. So yeah, that is something what I would say I do.
All right, what the movie name? Straw.
True. Yeah, a Tyler Perry movie.
Okay. All right. Shekaina.
All right. So my movie of choice would be Sundays at Tiffany's. I feel like I get to relax a bit more in my job. I bake. I'm actually doing something that I enjoy.
Okay.
And I think it's more of a glamorous type of job. You get to make your own schedule, and also Breakfast at Tiffany's is one of my favorite shows. So I'm like, all right,
Okay.
I think that definitely goes into it. I know it's completely different. There is some fashion design elements in what I do as well for
Mhm.
work. So yeah, I think that movie perfectly describes it.
Okay. Shekana, let me ask you this. What are your thoughts? And I don't know if this is going to be your personal thoughts or maybe through a conversation with persons around your age. What are your thoughts concerning work and job and having a career and this? What are your thoughts on it?
I think that because of the world we live in today, just overall, I think that it's important to have some source of employment. I think that's vital for every person. However, I believe that we've moved into a time where that can look so different for so many people. Again, we
Yeah.
have someone on our panelist who's into financial. She also does dance. And then myself, I'm fully self employed. I don't have any income that comes in from a boss being over
Right.
me. So I do again, as my singular word was important. I think that work, having a job, having a career of some sort is important. But I love that our society has embraced the option of things outside of just being a doctor, a lawyer. I love the
Right.
flexibility that we now have and the diversity that we now have with jobs.
Is that something from a public perspective, like generally? Like you made mention the society haven't embraced this, right? And I'm
Mhm.
wondering, is it that you are looking at it from the perspective that society has embraced this, or is it that especially for your generation or maybe the generations, within the millennials and Gen Zs, that they have decided, I'm not going to remain as the stereotypical type of worker or individual, and therefore they are willing to venture out, which has probably forced us society. So I'm just asking, is it from your perspective? Do you think that that is something that was welcome, or is something that we had to adjust to?
Definitely, I think we had to adjust to it. Our generation, starting from millennials, we
Yeah.
more call for and embrace that work from home culture. Whereas from personal conversations, the older generation, they prefer to go to an office.
Right.
They prefer to have that, rigidity in their routine. So I definitely think it was forced in some ways because Gen Z, we're just totally different.
Right.
Where we want more flexibility, we want to be able to kind of do what we want to.
Right.
So yeah, it's more among the younger generations between millennial Gen Z, and it was more forced also because of the pandemic. I think that kind of influenced the job market even more. You know.
Right. Okay. She kind of alluded to something early on, and so I want to talk with you about it. Having been, employed, um, for this period of time, and I'm sure there would have been some sort of adjustments during the COVID time. But how was COVID-19, if you could identify any in particular, how was COVID-19 and that pandemic period affected one, your work, your job, and even just the mindset behind working as well? If there is any that you can identify, maybe for you personally or for maybe some of your colleagues.
Okay, so for
Mhm.
me, so COVID for me, it wasn't bad.
Okay.
It was kind of scary at first because I needed to go to work. I was one of the
Okay.
essentials that had to be out.
Okay.
But what worked well for me, we had to go on a roster. So I had some weeks home, and that helped me to spend more time with my family. Um, but it also allowed my work to understand that some work can be done at home. So some of these
Right.
staff members who were not essentials, they had to
Mhm.
work from home. And up to this day, they have them coming in on work maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week. So, juggling and managing it is possible to
Right.
work from home. So that was
Okay.
a change. However, at that time during the pandemic, my sister and I were living together, and she was not working because her job wasn't an essential job. So I saw how it affected people in Trinidad and Tobago for sure.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
but it was a good thing that I was working at the time.
But Shekinah, you said that because you did make mention about the COVID and how COVID did affect your perspective on life and work and career. For a young person like yourself, were you employed during that time, during the COVID
Yes, I
era?
was
You
actually, and I
were?
was able to transition to the work from home environment.
Right. Okay. What kind of challenge that would have posed, and what type of impact would that have made, maybe on you personally, or even persons, as I said, within your age group?
I think it impacted some persons who, did not have a reliable Wi-Fi access at home, and there are still
Okay.
people who, they buy data plans and they operate strictly on their phone, so they don't have that
Mhm.
wired connection needed at home. And those persons were forced to either still come in for a couple days. However, as it relates to me, I don't think it was a challenge at all. I embraced
Right.
it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
definitely enjoyed being at home. My job was completely on the system, completely on the
Okay.
computer. So there was no need for me to be at the office. When it was time to return, I was very, very disheartened. I really wished I could have stayed at home. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would say the experience personally was great. I embraced what they allowed us to do. And I
Mhm.
was grateful that I had a job that, could have been transitioned into home rather than terminated.
Okay. Okay. So Patrice, I wanna bring, so there are some research that I did, right, on certain things, which in respect of work, career, and the millennials and Gen Zs. So I want to get from you guys, what are your views on some of these research information that I got, right? Right. So it says, unlike baby boomers, right? It's like the older generation, right?
Like yeah,
Unlike the
that's
baby boomers, they say, who put their work and their professional lives before their personal lives. And we know of people like that, who just, when it comes to work, is work. Their family, everything gets, put to the side, right? They say both the millennials and the Gen Z employees want to work without compromising their personal lives and family time. They want to be associated with organizations that uphold flexible schedules like remote work, compressed work weeks, and flexible working hours. They said this doesn't mean that that they want to work less, but that they actually enjoy the best. They want to enjoy the best of both worlds, without having to give up one for the other. So in other words, they enjoy working, but they also want to be able to enjoy their family life and their family time, right? So Patrice, the question is, what does work-life balance mean to you? And is that like a thing? Like, is that really possible to actually balance work and life?
So first of all, this morning I saw a picture of me or something like that, and the work-life balance is not real because even the working from Monday to Friday, right? That is the 5 days, and then 2 weekends. That alone in itself is unbalanced. So I
Right.
find
Yeah.
that really funny, right?
Yeah.
But I believe yes, it is important because at the end of the day, you must have something else apart from work that you have purpose to.
Yeah.
And I think family is everything because today or tomorrow if you fall ill or something happens to you on work, you are replaceable.
Yeah.
And you still have to fall back on your support system. And I think memories, creating memories, is something that you can't put a cost to. So I think it's really, really important. And the second thing is that, okay, you might be able to focus on work alone and say, okay, I'm working towards retirement. But how are you so sure to guarantee that you'll get to see retirement?
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
one. Two, if it is, okay, you don't see it and you save up all this money, you might have your kids, how they will treat what you work so hard for.
Yeah.
So why not enjoy life? Why not be in the present right now? So I think that is why, we need that work-life balance. Yes,
Yeah.
you need to make the money, but you also need to take the most important thing I believe is your health.
Yeah.
Must focus on your health. And some persons work till they get sick and they cannot enjoy what they have been working all this time for. So work-life balance is very important, where you need your health first and then your support system. Your family needs you, and you can't get back that time with your child when they done past 5 years, 10 years, 11 years. You don't want to treat them as though they are two, and all these
So
big
true.
important moments. So I think it's really important. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Shekinah, this one is for you. technology. Now I know
Mm.
the young people when it comes to technology, gotta born into this thing, gotta grow up into this thing. It's been a part of your life for from the onset, right? Now, this again, this is what the research says, right? The research says when it comes to technology and technological integration, it says that because the Gen Zs would have, and the millennials to a good extent, haven't grown up in the era of rapid technological advancement, that the employees expect to use intuitive tech tools to cut down the repetitive, sorry, tasks and make their work more efficient. They say they value automation and they want to make use of collaborative technology that helps them to stay connected with their peers. In addition to this, they say they appreciate the convenience of mobile application to help them work on the go. No, I also know that the Gen Zs in particular are very, very skeptical and very, very mindful of establishing boundaries. Now, technology kind of allows for businesses um to kind of still follow your home. Before you only leave your work, you leave your work. But when you reach home, that was it. But now technology finds its way even into your home. So Shakana, the question is this. One, how much of a value do you all place on the importance of technology and whatever it is you're doing in your business or even when you were probably employed, right? How much value do you place on it and importance you place on it? But then also, how do you all manage that idea that there is a cutoff point and my space needs to be respected, setting those boundaries? How do you all deal with that?
Okay, so I do think it's very important. First of all, I think
Yeah,
that technology has made so many things much easier,
yeah.
as a study would have suggested. But as you said, Gen Z is very particular about their boundaries, and that's the age group that I fall in. I'm in the Gen Z category, and when I was previously employed, I would see the infringement on my time a lot more. The
Mhm.
manager would call, "Hey, anytime, can you clock on for this meeting real quick?" And you want that job security, so more than likely you would accommodate them. Being self-employed, I try to have a cutoff period for customers, but even sometimes I don't respect my own boundaries. Like my customer who's regular, they might call me out, a little bit later than they should.
Mhm.
And how I manage that, I would just respond in the morning. And I also
Okay.
too, again, technology has made it so we have automated messages. So I have some of those hooked up. We're unavailable between this time. So sometimes I might still reply, but at least I have that the use again of technology to give them some insight that, hey, we're closed off for now. I will respond in the morning. And I usually just do that. So I've been able to manage very well.
Mhm.
I think again, it's very important. Technology, just in general, has helped us out so, so much. Even me being able to set up those boundaries has been as a result of the technology.
Okay, okay. On the heels of that, I want to shift your thoughts onto something else here. No, just as you were saying, right? Companies and businesses, they have been realizing that the Gen Zs, the millennials, they're different. they it had to grow on them, or it's something that they had to, eventually accept. But they are different, right? Now, again, there's a little bit of research here. It says that there are companies who experience a lot of challenges with both generations, right? And in some cases, it's because to their different expectations regarding work-life balance, they live their life with a sense of meaning and purpose. So the businesses and the work that they align themselves with, they want to find and feel like they have a comfortable fit. They are not just simply working because they want to work or they want money. There's a sense of satisfaction that they're also looking for, right? Now, one of the questions that I want to ask for you all is this: what are some of the key factors? And I will start with you, Patrice. What is a key factor or factors that will lend to you actually staying with a job or a business? And I'll come to Shekinah. I know Shekinah is on the entrepreneurial side of it, so I want to get her take on that. from that perspective. But for you, Patrice, you're with an organization or business. What are some of the things that will allow you to say, you know what, I'm going to stay here for a period of time?
I think just having goals for myself. So, I might have some financial goals or something like that. I mean, you always want to grow. You always would like to grow in any company that you're in. But I think it's my goals also being an example for my younger family members is important. And just being grateful for the opportunity. So, as much as if it might be kind of challenging at times, I get to understand, the gratitude of having a job in a time like now. So being able to know that, okay, if it is might be a tough day or a long day, it always have someone going through worse than me. And some person's goal is probably where I am at this moment in life. So that is what kind of helped me to hold on in those tough time and challenging time, to know that I have a goal that I want to achieve. So it's not about what I'm going through right now. It's the goal, the destination where I'm going at. And also to know that which part I am is probably someone else's dream. So help me
so to a good extent, you are very, very comfortable understanding that this is for I am at this job for a particular purpose and period, right? Yeah. So if you feel that there comes a time when you feel like, well, okay, well, I'm good. This is a comfortable time to leave. You have no hesitation in leaving. No. Okay. How much of a factor does salary and those things play?
I think your peace of mind is most important.
Okay.
Honestly, your peace of mind. Sometimes, yes, you say, more money whatsoever, but being able to have that same balance in life. Like, I am so grateful to be home at a certain time when the sun is up. I have experience working where you're leaving home and it's dark and coming back home and it's dark, and you really can't get much done.
I heard you made mention to the idea of purpose a few times. It's a topic I love. I love that topic a lot. But from your perspective, what does it mean when you say, whatever it is you're involved in, there's a sense of purpose behind it? What does that mean to you exactly?
Okay, so I know that this could be touchy, but I am someone who's very involved in my faith. And I think having that faith or having that grounding, I'm Christian specifically, but having something that grounds you, like there's for us, we use the Bible, and for in that we speak about the older woman how to teach the younger one when we go to Titus 2, or we speak about being diligent. If we look at the Proverbs 31 woman, there are so many examples within there. And my faith, being a Christian, is something that heavily, influences purpose. We are called to live a particular way. We are called to serve. We are called to do. And my job, both of them, my women's group, doing sewing for a couple persons, making cakes or fulfilling orders, doing all these things. These are services. And I feel that my faith is what helps me to do that. We are called to serve. We are called to help others first. And in all of these things, I'm serving.
Guys, we come into our close. I'm really, really grateful for the conversation. But I want to ask you all this. Shekinah is an entrepreneur. Patrice, you're employed. So definitely from the start of our conversation, we were indicating that definitely there is a role and an importance that is there when it comes to work or having a career or anything like that, right? If a young person who, for whatever the reason may be, doesn't feel like that is something that they want to do, I don't really want to work, are you able in any form or fashion to advise them and say, listen, there is some significance there? So I'm a young person, so let's use this as an example. I come to you and I say, listen, I just want school for this, I just want to relax home, right? But then I'm coming to you and asking you why it is you're working, why it is you're an entrepreneur. what type of advice or guidance that you can give to me as a young person that probably doesn't understand the significance of whether it is being employed or being an entrepreneur? Because I have accepted the fact that not everybody really has that inclination towards being an entrepreneur because it requires a particular mindset. And I know that's a whole conversation by itself, right? But in terms of understanding that uh there is a role and a function for be it a career or a job, right? Let me start with Patrice and then I'll come to Shekinah.
You get that pay, that
Yeah.
salary, that pay slip, and you get to purchase things that you could see that, okay, I did this. I
Yeah.
think so it works better than when someone just put money in your hand and you easily just spend it freely just so, and then you will not really appreciate. And then the next thing, working also keep you productive. Now, some person
Yeah.
mightn't like that, but productivity is a bonus,
Yeah.
because for me, I think if it is I'm not doing anything, I will tend to want to do something that is not good or not
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
So working, it keeps you to feel to appreciate the things that you earn,
Yeah.
and it also keep you productive in doing something that you can say you did for yourself. That
Yeah.
self appreciation, that self achievement. You can say,
Right.
I did this and I worked hard to earn it. So
Yeah. All
yeah.
right. Nice. Shekinah.
All right, so I think my approach would be a little bit more different than the practical, because you said a young person, and I'm assuming that would be Gen Z or the younger,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
generation, especially if they're coming with a concern like this.
Yeah.
Older
Yeah.
persons who tend to more have it figured out by now. So
Yeah.
being a young person, and again from Gen Z go back, Patrice would have mentioned, people would, you know, it gives you a sense of purpose. You're making this money yourself. And I have seen firsthand with so many young people, like, they have no problem with things being handed to them.
Right.
They have
Yeah.
no problem with that. So I think
Yeah.
understanding the group that I'm targeting or the individual that I'm targeting,
Mm-hmm.
I would simply explain the joys. I would go about it a little differently. I'm like, hey, you could travel, you have, the freedom to do this,
Yeah.
and again, being an entrepreneur, you should start a business. I know you don't want to go out there and work, but why not start a business? It gives
Patrice used a very, very important perspective, which is being productive. I think a lot of
yes.
young people don't understand the importance of being productive, because productivity, apart from it, creating maybe revenue and stuff for you, it is something that is inbuilt in us. Really be involved and to be doing things, to actually be creating stuff. And when we just simply sit by and not find ourselves involved in things, that mindset of being unproductive leads us into other things. And I see it. Unfortunately, we have the young men, strong young men, just by the side of the road, wasting their strength, when they could start a business, as you're saying. Get some chain of, car wash, use the technology and find out what machinery is there now that you don't have to use your hand to wash the vehicle. Just set up a whole open car park area and vehicles just drive through and get the vehicle clean, And I saw it down in Shagona, so I saw a guy had a nice little setup like that. But it's just really for us to understand that the young people need to sometimes just be directed towards the fact of, hey, it's important to be productive. Don't just allow your life to waste. Ladies, thank you all so much for spending the time with me and having discussed these talking with me on these various topics. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, and I hope that you all continue in your individual endeavors. You all continue to enjoy it. Be safe, and yeah. So thanks.
Thank you
Thanks so
so much
much.
for having me, Anthony. And I'm so glad to meet you, Patrice. You have been so
Same here.
insightful. I really, really enjoy hearing you speak. Sometimes you
Me
start
too.
speaking and I light up immediately. I just love hearing you speak.
Me
So
too.
thank
I
you.
enjoy.